Welcome to my channel. In 1988, the United States Mint was a finely tuned machine, outputting billions of coins every year with precision and consistency. The Lincoln cent, a design that had endured since 1909, was struck in enormous quantities that year across three major facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. With more than 11 billion Lincoln cents minted in total, most were destined for obscurity, passed through soda machines, lost between couch cushions, or collected in dusty jars. No one expected that such a routine year could produce something extraordinary. But buried among the billions was a coin that defied expectation, one that would spark debates, investigations, and fierce bidding wars among collectors. It was in suburban Indiana where the story took shape. A retired postmaster named Gerald Lasky, an amateur coin enthusiast with an eye for oddities, had long enjoyed the quiet hobby of roll hunting. He'd pick up penny rolls from the local bank and spend his evenings combing through them under the glow of a magnifying lamp. Most nights ended with nothing more than common wheat pennies or tarnished memorial cents. But one evening, a particular coin caught his attention, not because it sparkled, but because something felt wrong. The reverse side of the 1988 cent, showing the Lincoln Memorial, appeared faintly off. The lines lacked their usual sharpness. The FG, designer initials, representing Frank Gasparo, who sculpted the memorial, were unusually shallow. In fact, they were almost invisible. Gerald's heart quickened. He knew that, on most Lincoln cents, these initials were small but unmistakable, nestled to the right of the memorial's base. But on this coin, they were practically non-existent. He flipped it to the obverse side. Lincoln's profile seemed slightly bolder, almost as if it belonged to another era. The details, though subtle, stirred something familiar. Curious, Gerald compared it with other cents from his collection. The resemblance to the 1989 obverse became apparent. It didn't match the standard 1988 profile. That was when it hit him. He was possibly looking at a transitional error. His research deepened. By morning, he was cross-referencing images from multiple minting years, and what he found made his hands tremble. Somehow, this 1988 cent had been struck using the obverse die intended for 1989. That meant the master die used to make it was part of the updated design introduced the following year. But that wasn't all. When he looked again at the reverse, the barely visible FG confirmed another anomaly. It wasn't just a transitional obverse. It was paired with a reverse die missing a key detail, making it an exceptionally rare double error. He contacted a well-known coin authenticator and sent in the piece. When the certified report returned weeks later, it confirmed what Gerald had suspected. This was a legitimate 1988 Lincoln cent with the 1989 obverse design paired with a reverse die missing the FG initials, a combination that should not have occurred. The cent was authenticated and graded -55 Australian dollars, showing only minimal wear and excellent details for a coin that had circulated. The error was rare, astonishingly so. Most transitional errors involved leftover planchets. But this one involved a design change that had not yet been officially implemented in 1988. This meant that the mint had either tested the 1989 obverse early or mistakenly used the new die ahead of schedule, pairing it with a reverse die that had been overpolished, effectively scrubbing off the initials. Either scenario defied the intended precision of mint production. Collectors took notice. Word of Gerald's coin spread quickly through coin forums and auction previews. The coin community buzzed with questions. Was this an isolated error? How many others existed? And why did the mint not catch it? While a few other examples surfaced in later years, none matched Gerald's specimen in clarity or condition. The bidding at auction was intense. Error specialists, transitional die collectors, and even Lincoln cent purists vied for the coin. Its combination of subtlety and historical peculiarity made it an irresistible prize. Ultimately, it sold for a surprising $76,000, an eye-popping figure for a modern cent, especially one without precious metal content. The auction result elevated the 1988 transitional cent into the spotlight. Coin dealers began educating clients on the telltale signs, the missing FG. The slightly altered Lincoln bust, the sharper shoulder detail, and the more refined rim. New roll hunters entered the game, inspired by the possibility that such a treasure could be hiding in a pocket full of pennies. As more examples were authenticated, albeit far fewer than enthusiasts hoped, the market adjusted. Coins in lower grades, or with less obvious die discrepancies, sold in the $20,000 to $40,000 range. Those in high grades, especially with sharp detail and clear evidence of both the obverse and reverse errors, fetched considerably more. The United States Mint never publicly acknowledged the mistake. Internal documentation on die usage and preparation remains confidential, but numismatists widely accept that a handful of these 1988 cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a transition period when new design hubs were being tested. A miscommunication or procedural oversight may have led to a batch of coins being struck with the wrong obverse die, paired with a reverse that had been aggressively polished, wiping away the FG. Today, the 1988 Lincoln cent error is studied in numismatic journals and referenced in error coin guides. Its story is one of careful observation, relentless curiosity, and the power of one sharp eye to unravel a decades-old minting mystery. Currently, depending on its condition, clarity of the missing initials, and strength of the obverse design features, the 1988 Lincoln cent error is valued between $20,000 and $90,000. A quiet anomaly among billions, this rare cent proves that even the smallest coin can carry a history far greater than its face value. In 1995, the United States Mint was operating at full throttle, meeting the unending demand for coins across the country. At the Denver Mint, one of the busiest facilities, billions of 1-cent coins were being struck that year alone. The Lincoln Memorial Cent, with its iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the grand neoclassical structure on the reverse, continued to be a familiar fixture in daily commerce. As with most modern pennies, no one paid much attention. They jingled in pockets, vanished into vending machines, and were tossed into tip jars. But among these billions, a single error made its way into the world, a quiet anomaly that would go unnoticed for years, waiting for someone with just the right combination of curiosity and attention to detail. In the suburbs of Littleton, Colorado, a young hobbyist named Jacob Miller had taken to coin collecting as a way to connect with his grandfather. Weekends often found them seated side by side, sorting through rolls of coins from the bank. They shared coffee, stories, and occasionally, excitement over a weak penny or a misaligned die. Jacob wasn't looking for riches. He just wanted something different. And one spring morning, he found it. From a roll of freshly unwrapped cents dated 1995, one coin stood out. There was nothing unusual at first glance, but something in the way Lincoln's face appeared made Jacob pause. He turned the coin toward the light. The letters in Liberty seemed strange, blurred, almost as if doubled. "In God We Trust" had shadows beneath the letters. It wasn't the result of circulation where it looked deliberate, like the machine had hiccuped. His grandfather leaned in. "Looks like a double die," he murmured, pulling a magnifier from his vest pocket. They examined the coin more closely. Indeed, the doubling was not random. It followed a consistent pattern across the obverse inscriptions, clearest on Liberty, and the motto above Lincoln's head. The bust itself looked crisp and untouched. The reverse showed no abnormalities. A classic obverse double die error, except it was a 1995 D. That gave them both pause. Everyone in the collecting world had heard about the famous 1995 double die cent from the Philadelphia Mint. It was well documented and had caused quite a stir among hobbyists when first discovered. But a 1995 D? That wasn't in the books. Or at least, not widely. Jacob sent the coin to a well-known numismatic expert who specialized in modern mint errors. The response came with quiet urgency. The coin was genuine. It had been struck at the Denver Mint using an improperly manufactured die that had resulted in a classic obverse double die. But the key here was the mint mark. This was not from Philadelphia, but Denver, where such doubling was far less reported and drastically rarer. Further study confirmed the doubling was strongest on the lettering and did not appear to be the result of machine doubling, a less valuable and more common phenomenon. This was hub doubling, the result of a die that had received multiple misaligned impressions from the master hub before being used in production. Somehow, the flawed die had slipped into the high-speed, automated chaos of coin production without being caught. The coin was sent for professional grading and came back as MS64 red, an exceptional grade, indicating it had never seen circulation and retained its original luster. That alone made it remarkable. But its uniqueness as a Denver-struck double die sent a ripple through the collecting community. Rumors had circulated for years about a possible 1995D double die, but few examples were confirmed. Most turned out to be machine doubling or simple optical illusions. But Jacob's find reignited that conversation. The photos were posted to forums. Experts weighed in. The consensus was clear. This was a rare and legitimate variety, one that had somehow flown under the radar. Auction houses took notice. A high-profile lot was assembled for an error coin showcase, and Jacob's coin was given a prime slot. While the 1995 double die from Philadelphia had been commanding respectable prices, this Denver version was far more elusive, and serious collectors were eager to own what might be one of the few known examples in such pristine condition. When the auction day came, bidding opened modestly but escalated quickly. Phone bidders, online participants, and live attendees pushed the price higher than anyone had expected. The final hammer price $67,000. Jacob, now in his early 20s, was stunned. What had started as a bonding activity with his grandfather had led to a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. As word of the 1995D double die cent spread, others began scouring their collections and bank rolls. A few similar examples turned up over time, but the total number remained remarkably low. Most suffered from wear or discoloration, making high-grade specimens, like Jacob's, especially valuable. The Denver Mint remained silent on the specifics, but numismatists speculated that only a handful of flawed dies were created, and even fewer saw actual use. Collectors today continue to watch for this coin. It's tricky. Many examples passed off as double dies are just poorly struck or damaged cents. Spotting the genuine article requires close inspection, patience, and knowledge. But those who find one are rewarded with more than just a rare coin. They uncover a hidden chapter in the story of American minting. The 1995D Lincoln cent double die error now enjoys a unique place in modern numismatics. It's not as well known as its Philadelphia cousin, but it's far rarer and commands considerable respect among error specialists. Currently, depending on condition and clarity of the doubling, this rare 1995D 1-cent penny is valued between $20,000 and $75,000, securing its place as one of the most intriguing and sought-after mint errors of its decade.